Now, as far as radioactivity is concerned, you need to learn the difference or the important points between alpha, beta and gamma. Then we have radioactive decay law, which says dN by dt, the rate of disintegration of radioactive atoms, is equal to minus lambda times n, where n is the number of radioactive atoms present at that instant and lambda is decay constant. The minus sign indicates that the number of atoms goes on decreasing with time. Integrating this, we get an equation which is n is equal to n naught e raised to minus lambda t, which indicates that it is an exponential decay. Now using this, we have two important terms. One is mean life, which says the time which is nothing but the reciprocal of decay constant, or the time in which number of atoms reduces e times, or the number of atoms comes down to 37% of original value. And there was another term called as half-life, which is nothing but natural log 2 by lambda, or 0.693 by lambda, where the time in which the number of atoms reduces to half of the initial value. Now, as far as nucleus is concerned, we have a new term called as atomic mass unit, which we know is 1 by 12 of mass of one carbon 12 atom, which is equal to 1.67 into 10 raised to minus 27 kg. The energy equivalent of one atomic mass unit, if you convert it using Einstein's relation mc square, we get approximately 931 mega electron volt, which means if one atomic mass unit is to be converted to energy, we get this much amount of energy. Apart from this, using this one atomic mass unit, we have mass of proton represented as 1.0078 amu, mass of electron as 0.00055 amu, and mass of neutron as 1.0086 amu. Using this information, we have got another term called as mass defect, which is nothing but the difference in mass of the nucleus theoretically and practically. So basically what we thought, that the theoretical mass of the nucleus would be greater than the practical mass, but practically we found that the practical mass was greater and the theoretical mass was less, which means there is a loss of mass practically when it forms. Now, where exactly this mass is going, and by the idea of Einstein's theory, which is E is equal to mc square, we came up with a new term called as binding energy, which means it is the energy which gets stored in the nucleus itself to bind all the nucleons together. And that is how the binding energy formula becomes delta M, which is mass defect, into c square, using the formula of E is equal to mc square. Now, to get that value, the value of this will be in two huge amount, which is in mega electron volt. So practically, to make it useful, we have come across with a term called as binding energy per nucleon, which says binding energy upon the atomic mass number, for which the graph is also plotted of binding energy per nucleon versus the atomic mass number of every known element, and we got the graph something like this. So we reach a point where there is a maximum binding energy per nucleon for atomic mass number 56, which is of iron, and the amount of binding energy per nucleon is 8.75 mega electron volt. And another element for which the atomic mass number is 238, which is uranium, that binding energy per nucleon is 7.6 mega electron volt. So basically we found that the element which are having higher binding energy per nucleon for average number of atomic mass number are mostly stable, and the one which are having higher atomic mass number or the lower atomic mass number, they are unstable. And that's why we see nuclear fusion and fission reaction. Fusion mainly for those having atomic mass number less than 30, and fission mainly for those for which atomic mass number is greater than 170. So you can say 30 to 170 atomic mass number, they are mostly stable. Now for fission, we have uranium 238, when bombarded with high speed neutrons, breaks into barium and krypton. Along with that, we get 3 more neutrons with 2.6 mega electron volt. And in case of fusion, where you can say 4 hydrogen atoms merge to form helium atom, and also give 26.7 mega electron volt. Now these are the numbers which you need to remember. Apart from this, you should also know something called as pair annihilation, which says when electron and the antimatter of electron, which is called as positron, merges and convert into 2 gamma radiation, which means the mass gets converted to energy, and the vice versa process, which is called as pair production, in which 2 gamma ray photons merge in such a way that they produces mass in the form of matter and antimatter, which is electron and positron. Please remember, positron is the antimatter of electron.